Hi, look at this. This is the easiest sweater, long sleeve top situation kind of thing to knit on a knitting machine because it's done in one panel. This is how it looks on. My name is Carolina. This is Caroleena's Closet. Welcome to my channel. I like to make clothing. I usually knit in a knitting machine. I like to crochet. I like to sew. And I do like just general DIY. So that's the vibe of the channel. You're welcome. Consider subscribing and liking the video. And I have my social media on screen. I love making these. I have several because they're so fast to make. Look, and there are two missing. You can use them to test different techniques. For example, this one, I added some heart beads. This one is the one that I wear the most. This one that I made the sleeves quite snug and thin, and then the body got a little longer. I didn't even make a hem for this one in the bottom. It's quite a big neckline. For this one, I used 3 strands of yarn together, so they kind of interchanged themselves and did the stripes. If you do stripes with this technique, you have this like vertical stripes, which is really nice. For this one, I did a little bit of a longer sleeve, so the top itself is a little bit more cropped. So the larger the sleeve, the shorter the length of the torso, and then you'll end up doing a hem like this if you like to make it longer. This one is more sleeve style, so I didn't actually grow the whole machine worth of needles. I just did the white sleeves, and then I actually think I cast off a little bit of the sleeves, made these little panels with the hole in the middle, then proceeded to do the next sleeve. A little bit of a different style, but you can see it's nice to test out different textures. I tested that like bubbly texture with this one and a nice and shiny yarn. This one's actually a bit of a fail because you can always fail. I used this like thicker yarn and I skipped every other needle, so it made a little bit of a chunky design, but it's not as elastic as it should be. So this one is quite snug to put on in the sleeves. I should have done the sleeves a little bit bigger, but it's nice and like delicious. It's like slingy. This one, guys, I just did my nails and I'm like getting these. It's kind of a dumb choice, but anyway, this is the same thing. I also skipped needles. I don't know why I was in the skip needle vibe, but I did. So it is a little bit like very thin for the sleeves. I can't put it on, but it's a little bit of a struggle. I wear these the least. I now know that I don't like that. I also have a green and a pink one that I wear all the time. They're in the wash. I think this is a really nice project. When I made this one, I think I explained it quite well and I walked through the process in quite a bit of detail. So this is what I will show you how to make today. I filmed this a little while ago to be part of my making clothes for vacation video, but it's embedded in a long 1.5 hour video with multiple designs, multiple styles of making clothes. There's knit, there's crochet, there's sewing in that video, so I know it's not for everyone. So this is a more detailed version of when I made this one. It's a bit long because I want to show you with a little bit of detail everything as I made it. So the way that this is constructed is basically sleeve first. So you start with enough needles to make a tube around your bicep, like the biggest part of your arm. You knit a long tube enough to cover your arm, and then you open the rest of the machine, so it's a full machine project, and you knit a bit for the shoulder part, and then you made a hole for the neck part, and then you knit a little bit more for the shoulder and the next sleeve. It's quite interesting. It is a full machine, and that is, you know, a little bit to tackle with, but apart from the full machine aspect of it, it's quite a simple design. It's just straight stitches and cast on and cast off. This is what you are about to watch. I hope you enjoyed the video. Okay guys, so this is the knitting machine. As you can tell, like, it's not on power. What's on power is actually my table because I have a standing desk. We will use the carriage. For the carriage, here you change the tension. You'll see in this project, I will use a tension 9. So it creates a more open weave. And then something that we will use in this project is this. For my machine, this is the hold button and the knit button. So usually when I'm knitting normally, I'm always on the knit. And in case I need to use short rolls, which I will, I change it to the hold button. When it's in the hold button, all of the needles that are all the way forward, they won't knit. See, it doesn't do anything. When the needles are in this position, which is the normal knitting position, they will knit. You didn't see anything because there's no yarn, but that's the gist of it. Normally when it's in knit position, they will knit. See? But if it's in hold, every needle that is forward will not knit. Okay, here's the counters. For this project, I zero the counter every time I do a step. I finish a sleeve, I zero the counter. I finish the shoulder, I zero the counter. And one last thing, as you'll see, most machines will come with a ruler here. And what the ruler does, it has a 0 here in the middle of the machine. So there's half that and half there. I just, as of habit, I usually talk in sides. So I usually say this side, like 10 needles this side, 10 needles this side. I mean, 10 is here. 10 needles this side. So if you see me talking about this side, that's what I mean. 0 from there is one side, 0 from there is one side. In this project, I'll be taking a few stitches from the middle. If I say like 15 stitches, I'll take these 15 stitches from the side and then 15 stitches from this side because the symmetrical, so it's always mirrored. I use a transfer tool. On this project, I only use it to transfer the stitches on the hem. And then I have the latch hook. Mine is broken, actually. Oh my god. This is a latch hook, but mine is it's not really good. So I just use this needle that I wrapped. But this is a latch hook, and I use it for casting off. And you see me using it in just a second. This is kind of the basics. I just really wanted to explain the ruler because I talk in halves. So this is the 0, is the center of the machine, and then half and half. To start any project, you have the yarn here. It doesn't really have to be a cone, but it's useful. And you will pick it up and you go up. So you go first through here. And then up here, there is a disc. Can you see it? You can use either or, it doesn't matter. You can use either side. And it's a little disc, so the yarn goes through here. And then it goes forward to this thingy here. Always use the same side, like this. Right? And then you grab the antenna and you fold the antenna and put the yarn inside it. And then you can use this little thingy to hold it till you are ready to start. And then when you start, you select your amount of needles and you do a E-wrap. For the E-wrap, you just move your yarn around the needle, forming a loop, like an E, a cursive E, like so. You will here on the carriage. Obviously, your machine's not gonna be like mine, but they might be similar. So you just put your yarn through here, and in my machine, you really do have to close the latch. Otherwise, the yarn might fall. And a very important thing about the machine is the tension. So when you start a project, it doesn't have enough tension to hold the knit in place. So you see, For example, here all the needles are forward, and for the first row you might need to just like hold the yarn till you get here so it doesn't loop in the bottom. I will do this and knit one row. If I go back without adding any weights, it might not knit because there isn't enough tension in the bottom here for the machine to work. See, neither, like these ones did not knit. Oh my god, so sorry. This ones did not knit, and this one's did, this one didn't. So that can't happen. And what we do to prevent that from happening is to put some weights on. Now, if you have a comb, which you'll see me using, something like this, you can put it on the first row. You pull the yarn forward, put it on here, make sure it's through in the yarns. Can you see it? You put the weight here and it will knit. Because this is such a small sample, the comb will be like uneven. And I'll just show you. So if, in case you don't have the comb, you will have to bring your needles forward every time for a few rows because the weight can go in. You knit one row and then you put some pressure here in the bottom and you bring the needles forward like such and you knit. See, all of the needles knit, everything is knit, and then you do that for 5 or 6 rows. Obviously this is very small, so it's fast. In a larger project it will take a little longer, like such. I think one more. And now you can add your weight. Add as many weights as you have as possible. It's always better to have more than less. Obviously you'll have an amount of weights, so use the more you can. And then you can just like this. So these are the basics that I didn't explain on the video, and that is it. I hope you enjoy it. I'm gonna do 80 needles, and then tension 10 or 9. I feel like 10 is extreme. This is, I think, an acrylic. Yeah, I got this at like a yard sale. Not yard sale, but like I'm getting rid of my yarn kind of sale. I'll cast on as normal. Those 80 needles I told you about. I'll do a fairly big hem for the cuffs, but it's not snug. It's just so that it has a hem. A hem. I think this is good actually. So tension 10, 1 row, tension 9, 10 more. Okay, now I'm gonna fold it like this. Hem has been created. Now I will knit enough for like 1 arm and then annotate that. Let's go! do 150. It took me literally 5 minutes to knit all of this. Sometimes knitting machines are fun, okay? Now I will cast on the rest of the machine for maximum length, which is an extra 60 needles in each side. It's still gonna be cropped, but it's a decent amount. And for this side, I have to cast on the wrong way. I got used to it since I started doing these because I've done so many of them, but it can be a little bit challenging in the beginning. But you're doing the same E wrap, just with your wrong hand on the wrong way, like this. I cast on the foam machine in this side. Now I'll just take the carriage that way. It will knit these ones, and then I'll cast on that side. I will now cast these on. Also bring these ones forward for security. I'll cast these on normally. And I will knit. Also, I'll zero the counter here. And I'll just knit it all. I made 50 rows. Let me just... I will now make a little hole for the head here. So I'll knit only one side, then I'll knit the other side, and then I'll join back and do this again. So for that, I will press the hold button. It does the short rows. I'll do 15 for the head. So I'll take from 15 out of working position. This won't knit. I will knit all the way here. I will now cast off the 30 here, 15 from one side, 15 from the other, and then I'll just knit here. Right, now I'll knit this for a few rows. I think this is good. Solid 30. Now, and I'll bring the carriage here. I'll zero the counter. I'll bring these needles forward. And I will knit those rows there. I just have to feed. Don't forget that. And then I'll just bring them slightly back. Like so. I have to manually count for this side because it doesn't reach all the way there, and I don't want to bring the carriage here because it will start snagging on these stitches. I should have put a waste yarn here, but this is a fairly fast project. I don't want to waste time with waste yarn for the sake of the integrity of these row. So I just don't go with the carriage all the way there, so I have to manually select the counter. Now, I will just cast these back on. And I'll grab this one here and just loop it through here just so it's a little bit more, tensioned because it tends to loosen up here. And then the yarn is over here on the last needle that I cast on from here to there. And now all of the needles are forward. And the yarn is here where I last cast off for the head here. The yarn goes over all needles. And then I bring back just this side of the work. Very, very carefully. And now I will take the carriage here and knit these. And you can bring the yarn like I'm doing so that you're sure that it doesn't catch or on any of the other ones. And then it's here, yay. I like to do a little tug here. And now zero the counter. And we can take it off, oops. We can put back, it was here, and we can put it back on knitting position. So it will knit normally. And now we will just repeat this and this. So here I did 50, so I'll just do 50 rows now. And I have to pay attention for this area here because I'll have to keep putting tension here until I'll have to keep bringing the needles forward till I have enough to put the weights on. This. Now I will cast off the 60 in the side, and then I'll cast off the 60 in the side. I just like to put up, whoops, the one that I'll stop at. Can cast off in the way that you prefer. So it's all cast off till here. I will now feed the machine, and I will knit the rest of the row. And now I will cast off all the way till here. Hey guys, so I did this. I only have one sleeve left to do, and the hem. It does only take 5 minutes to knit the sleeve, as we learned, but it takes a few more minutes to do the hem and cast off. Cast off is really annoying. I just cast off a bunch here to do the sides, and it does take a while, so I don't have that time. I have to go to the gym. I have a class scheduled. I'll go to the class and then I'll be back and finish this. I'm back. I didn't take a shower. Deal with it. Now, yarn in. Always make sure the yarn is in once you're when you stop for a while for whatever reason, because sometimes you forget to put it back on and you knit without it and your life is ruined. You don't want that. Zero the counter, because now we're doing 150 rows. Whee! And you can take off the I'll just do one more. Wow. Let's go. All right, we made the 150. Now I just need to do the hem. Because we already have a full machine, I like to use a little bit of a waste yarn in a different color. And you grab the size that you need, and then you wrap it around a needle once, the first one, and then you zigzag it across the needles. So one down, one up, One down, one up, one down, one up, one down, one up. Like this, and you can wrap around the last one just for good measure. Zhuzh it back. And then you make your hem the same way that you did the first one. I did 10 and then 1 in tension 10 and then 10 more in normal tension. So I'm using tension 9. So 1, 2, 3. And then tension 10. I mean, this is tension 9, so it doesn't really make a difference, but this is to create a little dent on the hem when it folds over. But in this case, it's just because I always do it and it just feels weird not to do it. Let's go. And now I'll fold it using the blue one as a guide. Now, I'll just cast off straight from here. Hope I don't drop any stitches. Wow, I actually didn't really drop any. Wow. And cut. Let's see if it makes a nice sound. Good. Okay, besties, this is what we have got going on. So I will close it like here, and then it will go here. It is okay, it's not too cropped, but as you guys might know, I'm not a fan of the rolled hem, so I will do a little hem here for length, and it's good because it won't roll in anymore. So I think I'll do a 20 by 20 little hem, and that's it. It is quite tight on my body, and that's based on the amount of rows that I did here. So if I want it larger, I can just make it longer either here on the shoulders before doing the hole for the head, or while doing the hole for the head and making it a longer like neckline, like a boat neckline, or like a drop shoulder neckline or something. Okay, so you grab your thingy, your tneed, and you pick one of the front or the back, and you kind of roughly measure it against your machine. Don't stretch it too much, but you can stretch it a little. Just kind of look at it and see how many needles you need. Mine is over here, 7.5 and 60, 70 plus 60, 130. Yeah, so do 65 on each side like this. It's very rough. You can count if you want, like the amount of rolls, and go by rolls. I don't like that. I just kind of roughly measure. You know, it doesn't always go right, so I guess maybe count. It's because this is on in rows and this is stitches, so it's not going to be an exact number. Because like the rows are smaller than the stitches. I think it's easier to just do it like this. And then you cast on like normal. Just doing the E-wrap. It's cast on, and now I will knit. I think I'm gonna do a 20 by 20. So I'll just zero the counter. I think I'm changing the tension to a tension 8. It's gonna be a little bit more compact, but not that much. It's not gonna make that much of a difference. I usually like to do hems a little bit smaller, but I didn't do it for the rest of the thing. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. Now I do one row, tension 10, back to tension 8, 20 more rows in tension 8. Now I'll just fold it. Sometimes it's helpful to just open all of them first. I never do that, but it is helpful. Oh. Wow. So easy. Ooh la la. Wow. Yay. You got the point. I'll do it all the way to the end. Once you have it all folded over, you get your need. Okay. You get one of the short parts. You can look at it. This is the knit side. This is the purl side, the wrong side technically. You attach it with the right side facing the machine. Okay? So you're looking at the wrong side of the fabric. Whatever you want to be the wrong side, you're looking at it. And then you just attach it like you've been doing. So I like to do first one side and then do the other. It's not, oh my God. And then you just once it's all in, you just like push it. And you guessed it, you cast it off with all of them layers. Woohoo! I mean, you get it. I'll do this all the way to the end. Okay, so it's all cast off. And it's done. Look. This is how it will look in the front. It doesn't stretch much here, so be sure that it does fit. It does stretch, but not that much because of the cast off. And now I will do the exact same thing on the other side. And then the machine part will be done. Okay, girls. So this is the last thing that I'm doing on the studio. By the way, now, like, this is what it looks like, right? I'll just fold it like this and stitch from here to here and from here to here. Okay, folks, so here, this is the shape. And then these are the sleeves and this is the body. And you basically just, and then I will stitch from here to here and then from there to there. I like to get these paper clips and just hold here the armpit, this, and then one here like this. And when you get here, by the way, you do go around the hem here and on the sleeve as well. And since we're here, I like to at least one clip over here. And then you can put more if you want. I just don't bother. Here and then here, here. This seam is easier. This one's more annoying. They're different seams because here we can do a pretty perfect invisible seam. We cannot do this here. Tapestry needle. If you start from here. Let's see. There's like, can you see here where it shifts from stitches to rows? I will just leave a little tail here so that I can weave it through after I finish the seams. Do a little knot. Double it because it won't hold, just like this. And now for the arm seam, this is the fun one. We will do an we'll do the same kind of seam for both sides, but here it looks prettier than here. Here, can you see like there are the rows? You basically get like, you can go on the second one or the first one. Can you see that there's a line here? So you will pick up like 2 stitches or so. Normally 2, more than that is just weird. And you don't have to pull it all the way, but leave it just a little bit. And then you do the same thing on the other side. Oops, like so. It is, I don't know why there's a little bit of a learning curve for this because it seems like a simple stitch. But for some reason, I have got, I did take a while to like get used to it. You basically do this. So you go always on the same line, especially for this design that is like very straight. There's no curves or decreases or increases here. So you just go back and forth, picking up like 2 stitches like this. Always on the same line. And then you just, once you have a feel, you just pull it like this. And it almost doesn't look like a seam here. And then you just do that throughout the whole thing and around the hem. So this is the arm. Oops. And then here you do the same thing. It just will look less like straightforward. You can start from the bottom if you have some large, long yarn. I'll just start here just because, but I usually start with the yarns that are left over from when I started the machine. And then I have to weave this and cut it. I'll do that later. So this is where they meet, and it changes direction. So it's the same thing, but it just doesn't look as pretty as the invisible seam, because it is not an invisible seam because of the way that, like, we're not stitching rows. I mean, we're not. This is the stitch side and this is the row side. So these match perfectly. These are a little, they're not as perfect. And you can just go from like one stitch to the other. See? Just like in between two stitches. Like this. And you pull it. See? It's a pretty seam, but it's not as pretty as this seam. Do you know what I mean? And then you do it all the way here, and then you loop around here, and then you do the same on the other side, and you'll be done. I do have another like very detailed version of this process if it was too fast or you didn't quite like how I explained it. I have an old series of videos where I make this same kind of project, very slow paced. It is old and I haven't watched it in a while, so I'm not sure it's the best quality, but I think I tried to over explain it in those videos in case there was any questions. But yeah, if you try and do this, let me know if you're making it. If you did make it and it worked out nice, feel free to send me a photo on Instagram. I have my social media here. Or just let me know if you're gonna do it, if you did it. Comment in the comment section if you made it all the way here. It would be nice if you left me a comment because it helps me out. Just leave a yarn emoji if you don't know what to comment. And yeah, let me know if you like tutorials like this. If people want, I can make more tutorials like this. It's just that it does take a little while, and I don't know how many people need machine knitting tutorials because I know it's a little bit of a niche. But let me know, I can make more tutorials if it was helpful. If there are questions, if there are things that you don't think I explained very well, you can let me know. If there's another way that I can make these like explaining videos in the machine, feel free to let me know. I'm very open to constructive criticism. But yeah, this is it. Let me know what you think. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.